What's up guys, it's me, Crystal Pokedude, here with another video, and in my last video I talked about how I was making a condensed order for Steven Universe episodes and all that, and how the filler stuff was getting in the way. But anyway, so today I am showing you guys this order, and I know it doesn't shave too much off of it, so if you're trying to watch all of Steven Universe, I'm not shaving off much. The entire, the season is 52 episodes. I have shaved it down to 36. So I've left majority of the episodes intact. I've just shaved 4 hours off your 13-hour journey, so now you're only watching Steven Universe for 9 hours in season 1. So I've shaved that down a bit for you guys. Now, getting into the list, I'm going to go over the episodes you need to watch. I'm not going to spoil any of them. I'm just going to say, look, this is the episode, this is why you should watch it. So, going right on the list, Gym Glow is the first episode you gotta watch, because Gym Glow introduces Steven, it introduces the gyms, it introduces all the stuff that makes Steven Universe, and it introduces the concept quite nicely. Next up is Laser Light Cannon, which introduces Greg and the Light Cannon, both of which become important later, so yeah, that's why you gotta watch Laser Light Cannon. It's also a really nice episode, so you can watch it. Cheeseburger Backpack, it just sets up a later episode. You don't need it, and if you're really pressed on time, I would say you could cut it, but I mean, it's still a solid episode. Cat Fingers is the next episode, which would be episode 6, but now in this condensed order is now episode 4, so yeah. Cat Fingers, it introduces shape-shifting as a concept, so go ahead, watch it. Bubble Buddies is number 5. It introduces Steven's Bubble and Connie, both of which are important. Serious Steven, is next. It was episode 8, now it's episode 6. You don't gotta watch it, but it introduces a lot of people's white diamond theories, so go ahead. Steven's Lion is next, and Steven's Lion, it's honestly really important. Lion is a big part of season 1, and even the later seasons. Lion is just an important character. So you need Steven's Lion. Giant Woman introduces the concept of fusion into the show. So you need Giant Woman to introduce fusion. Lars and the Cool Kids, honestly, it just hints at some stuff rather than flat out saying it. You don't need it, it's decent. Steven the Sword Fighter introduces one of the most important concepts of the show, which is poofing, where if a gym takes so much damage, it retracts into its gym, and then it heals. So it introduces that concept. Next up, Lion 2, the movie. It introduces a lot of neat concepts, and you really need it, because it really kind of sets up Rose's Scabbard a bit. Next up is Rose's Room. Rose's Room introduces, Rose's Room, and it's important. Coach Steven introduces the second fusion, Sugalite. Sugalite, it introduces a lot of stuff. It's got a really nice song in it, and it's just a nice episode. So, watch Coach Steven, which is at episode 13. Now, it was episode 20. Again, I condensed it. It's a lot easier now. Next up, Steven and the Stevens, which is a really nice episode, and you don't need it, but I feel like it's a nice enough episode, and it kind of flows with the other stuff. So just go ahead, watch it, have a good time. Next on this list is Monster Buddies, which introduces the idea of trying to cure the monsters, which is a nice little touch, and it's a nice episode, and you might end up crying at the end. I didn't cry, but still, it's sad. Next up is an Indirect Kiss, which introduces a big status quo change. It also introduces the idea of cracking, a gym cracking, so yeah, it's a good episode. Next up, Mirror Gym and Ocean Gym, which was going to be the finale of the show. It introduces a new character, it introduces a lot of concepts, so go ahead, watch it. House Guest, it is a status quo change. I'm not going to say why it's a status quo change, but all the people that know why it's a status quo change, it's a status quo change because it takes something away. And yeah, that's pretty much why you need House Guest. Space Race isn't necessary, but I'd say go with Space Race. At episode 20, it used to be episode 28. I mean, I'm not going full blown like saying, oh, this was the original episode, this is where it is now with every episode. I'm just giving you occasional updates. Wait, was it 20? I think it was actually 20. Let me check. If I'm gonna update you guys, I'm gonna update you guys accurately. Okay, so yeah, Space Race was 28. And next episode, we skip to episode 30, Island Adventure. Which the only reason you need Island Adventure is because it sets up a later episode. It sets up a small section in Marble Madness. So, yeah. Next up, we have Fusion Cuisine. It introduces Alexandrite, another gem fusion, and it introduces it kind of introduces like a thing that's later touched on in later episodes, specifically winter forecast. But yeah, so after Fusion Cuisine, Watermelon Steven, which was set up by Lars and the Cool Kids, and it's a really nice episode. It also sets up Super Watermelon Island later on. So yeah, Watermelon Steven, watch. I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible, so this can be for like new people watching the show, but it can also be for like people who have seen the show. Basically, I'm trying to make it to where there's a few spoilers as possible, so the new people watching this video can be like, yo, this is a nice order to watch Steven Universe. Thanks for not spoiling it, Pokedude. Anyway, so where was I? Just finished Watermelon Steven. So next, Lion 3, straight to video. One of the best episodes of overall season 1. It's a really nice episode, and yeah, it's influential to the plot going on. Now this is where the episodes start setting up into each other. Next is Warp Tour, which sets up one of the crucial villains of Season 1's endgame. That sets up all that. Alone Together introduces a new fusion. I'm not going to tell you what fusion it is, but it introduces a new fusion, and it's just a fun episode. Next up is The Test, which is the reason we watched Cheeseburger Backpack, which basically just a setup from Cheeseburger Backpack, and it's just a nice episode, and it's got one of the best tracks in the show. I'll probably end up playing that track right here, but anyway, it's one of the best tracks in the show. So after that, Future Vision, which introduces Future Vision, if you couldn't tell. Introduces Future Vision, and that's why you need Future Vision. So after Future Vision, we have, oh man, this video is already like almost 8 minutes. You guys better appreciate me editing all this. So after Future Vision is On the Run, which introduces a lot of backstory for a character. Again, trying to stay as spoiler-free as possible, but I mean, you watch these episodes, you'll understand what I'm saying. And for those of you who've already seen the show, I'll like link the order in the description, so you guys don't have to watch through this whole thing. You can just be like, oh, here's the order, I'm gonna try it in this order. I mean, you don't have to try it in this order, that'd just be a nice thing to do since I've gone through all this effort. Anyway, but yeah, On the Run, good episode. Winter Forecast introduces a concept that's like really necessary for right before the end of the show. Like it introduces a concept that's repeated on in the finale, so you need Winter Forecast. Marble Madness is basically a sequel to Warp Tour, and it sets up more stuff. Rose's Scabbard is necessary, and it sets up a lot of the plot about Rose that gets developed later on. Story for Steven and The Message. Now, the Story for Steven was originally aired in Season 2, and then Story for Steven was Season 2. I didn't know if I said The Message or not, but yeah, Story for Steven was Season 2, but it actually predates The Message. They aired it in a funky order because they were trying to get everything out on time. But honestly, you can switch around Story for Steven and The Message because they both flow into each other quite nicely. Story for Steven is the flashback on how Greg and Rose Quartz met, and The Message sets up right before the finale. Basically sets up the finale, and like you can watch them in either order. Honestly, the intended order says for Story for Steven to come first, so just go with that. And then after The Message, you can go directly into the 2-part finale, The Return, and Jailbreak. Honestly, it's a finale. It's going to have a lot of information, and it's just a really big episode. So that's all you need for Season 1.
Hope you guys will test it out. I'm gonna save part 2, the episodes that you can skip. But yeah, anyway, bye guys.